Hi guys.
Hi.
Happy Sun. We're both wearing red.
Yes, we are.
Happy Sunday, and happy early holiday season. So we're coming to you tonight, as always, with some helpful tips, relationship and life-wise. Obviously, this is something that Nancy and I are constantly talking about, focusing on, working on, because it's just that important. So just want to say hi to Dana and Kerry, Melissa, Michael, Lloyd. Thank you for joining. Michelle, Mika's on. Rick, what's up, brother? Kale, good to see you. So say hi and where you're coming in from, and we're always going back and forth, and what are we going to talk about tonight? Because every weekend is different. Every week is different, and we're not really sure. Sometimes what's required, and our weekends when we have Taylor are much different than the weekends when we don't have him. We learn different lessons through all of that. So what we did tonight, after we dropped Taylor off, we went to the grocery store and we were just kind of talking about certain things about, life being integrated as a team and as a family. And we just talked about three, very, very important keys to really succeeding as a family and as parents and as new parents and new family. And it's things that absolutely should be focused on. And this goes for, even if you're not a family yet, even if you're just in a relationship, you don't have to be married or, we're just engaged. But when you start to, Nancy made a great point tonight. She goes, you work on those things now so they don't become things later. She can speak. She's going to. I'm just going on a little tangent to start. So the number one key to success in a relationship, as parents, as not parents, just in general, number one is communication. Communication is absolutely everything, and it's one of the things that I love most about my relationship with Nancy is that we do talk about everything, and it's not like there's never a car ride where we're sitting in silence. There's one of us is always talking about something. So what's your take on communication?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think communication, I like to hold the card, sorry.
It only says communication.
Yeah.
She's literally, she's holding a card that says this. And
here are my notes.
Here's your notes.
Here are my notes. I need to, okay. No, I think communication is, and good communication is the backbone of so many things. And especially when it comes to relationships. I mean, it's funny because, with Scott, I feel like it's so important that anytime I feel something or maybe something comes up or whatever, like I feel very blessed and I feel very grateful that I can actually go to him and say, hey, let's talk about this, or hey, let's have a conversation about this, or, here's how I feel. What do you think? But we're both on that level where it's like the communication gates are open. So I think that's huge in relationships. That you both are able to communicate each other, how you're feeling, you're both respectful of each other. Because that's the thing, like communication is one thing, but you have to also make sure that you work on that aspect of the relationship where you're willing to like receive stuff and give stuff. I actually used to be one of those people who I used to bottle my emotions and my feelings in. And I would literally get to a point where I'm like, oh, that bothers me so much. And I would literally like blow my top. Now I made a promise and I made a commitment to Scott that I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let things get me so frustrated. I'm not going to let things bottle up. I'm going to actually be honest and I'm going to say them when I feel them. And I can't tell you, since the start of our relationship, I remain committed to this. It's one of kind of my cores and it's really been awesome. This has been the first relationship that I've actually let my feelings out. We've had many crying fits like in the car of me just letting out my emotions because I feel something. We've been at the movies and I've cried and it's like, I can't tell you how relieving it feels, to be able to share my feelings and things like that. But not only just that, is just the communication piece, being able to speak how I feel. And if I get frustrated, or if I have questions about something, or if I want to hash something out, we're able to communicate as adults, to work towards a solution. So communication is like key.
Yeah, and on the male side of it, for me, I always committed to becoming a better communicator, a better listener, because the way that men and women are, we're different. Women want to be heard, they want to share their feelings, and the easiest thing that men try to do is to yes that person to death, to end the conversation as quickly as possible. But what I learned is that so many great things come from just having a very simple conversation. I don't bottle my feelings up, and she even said to me tonight in the car, I'm going to tell you how I feel, because I don't want it ever to become something. But if you feel a certain way, you tell me. And I said, listen, I have no problem putting Taylor and you in timeout at the same time. If you're stepping out of line, I have no issues with that. And that's the thing, communication for any relationship, you avoid the blow-ups, you avoid the screaming and yelling matches, you avoid the feeling like this person's not listening to me, or they don't care, you feel unloved. It heightens the romance, it heightens all of those things, because that there is nothing that goes on that cannot be discussed. And I think for any successful relationship, I think for any successful marriage, because here's the thing, whether you've been with someone for 30 years, 3 months, or 3 years, when you're committed to someone, the commitment that you have to that person at 3 months is the same exact commitment that you should have at 30 years. It doesn't change. You don't take advantage of that person. You don't say, well, they're committed to me. She said, yes, we're getting married. So, all bets are off now. I can, la, 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 la.
Yeah, it's like you got really mean since.
Right. Every time it's just showing more, conviction that you have to that person about really wanting to make it the most spectacular relationship ever. And it's something that I feel every couple should practice. We've openly talked about that, we want to go talk to therapists, while we're in our relationship, because there's new things for us. And it's so weird. Everyone thinks therapy is such a dirty word and it's such a bad word. But, I've been a single parent, co-parenting my son since he's been 2. And, now we're going to be starting a family together, and we want to learn the best way to make sure that, our family is strong and sturdy and loving and welcoming. So, Taylor feels comfortable with everything, and, how do we do everything? And it's great to get an outsider's point of view for that, because every parent is trying to figure out the best way as they know how. And as much as we feel like we know everything, that's when you know nothing, because there's always someone else out there that can give you some unbiased advice on what you can do to become even better individuals, better parents, better husbands and wives, and whatever it is.
Yeah, I think, and again, we're kind of on the topic of communication, and we're getting ready to jump into our next one, but it kind of came up tonight. It's kind of been like a theme in life, but I think everyone really needs to have core values, and they need to kind of stick to them. And the more I'm kind of like learning, and I'm doing reading and things like that, but whenever it comes to parenting, that's something that I think it's so important to have core values and things to really like stay true to, right? Being kind, being truthful, speaking whenever it's necessary, like certain things where it's like, okay, these are kind of my core things. But like whenever it comes to parenting, maybe whenever it comes to relationship and life and whatever, I think it's important that everybody just has those like compass, those things that they like stand true to and they stay confident with. Because there's so many things that come up, and there's so many articles out there, and there's so many books that they read about, that they write about everything. So it's important to really determine, okay, what are these 3 to 4 things that I really, want to focus on instilling. I want to focus on, with myself, with my development, with, in a relationship, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
no,
it's super important.
I think the big thing that everyone needs to understand, it's never too late to work on your relationship. There's going to be rough patches. There's going to be shitty moments. It's just a plain simple fact. Life is not perfect, and you got to be, like today we were driving in the car, and like it was like ping, 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 ping. There was like 3 things, and she goes, listen, none of these things are a big deal. Just don't worry about it. Let's focus on being present right now and like enjoy our day. And it took me a moment to like have to refocus, but we did. And we didn't, like, it was nothing. Like it was just a blip on the screen of our day.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think it's so funny because, and Scott even said it earlier, but it's like, we can let all these little things bother us and let us get all frustrated and upset and get it, like, basically ruin our day. Or we can let these little things go and we can kind of go, okay, I'm going to put you in this box. I'm going to put you in that box, and, I'll address that one later. But it's like, we can like be present. We can live life. We can be happy, and we can just continue on and just, keep going forward. There's no need to like really let things like that upset you. And again, communication is important because we kind of got to hash that out together. And I think we're such a good example of how in a relationship, I water me, I water you, you water me. It's like we kind of help each other when we're going through kind of a little patch. So communication is important.
And none of it, and again, it's never too late to start working on your relationship. You can, if there's something right now that needs to be addressed, go to a therapist. Go work on that now, because the sooner that you can nip it in the butt and you can really work on it and acknowledge that, I have triggers, she has triggers, and we're working on, pointing the triggers out to each other so that we can work on that, so it doesn't become a trigger. It just becomes, because when it's your trigger, you're just so unaware to it. It's just so natural for you to react a certain way. But from an outsider's view, they're like, whoa, that's a huge shift in emotion right there.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I get excited talking about this, because literally, like, I mean, like Scott said, we both have our triggers, and I'm starting to pay attention to like things that set me off. And I had no idea some of these things set me off and literally shifted my mood in like 2 seconds. And it's like, whoa, okay, this is something that I need to,
we're not seeing the comments on here, but people are, for some reason it's not coming up, but we just wanted to say hi to everyone. We did color coordinate this whole thing.
So anyway, like the whole trigger thing, I think it's important, like for all of you who are on here right now, think about those things that might trigger you. And I'm telling you, like, it could be something simple. It could be a person. It could be, for me, it was like a specific person. It's like, why am I reacting that way?
Yeah.
And it was like 10 times worse towards that person. So, try to really think about those things that might set you off, and it might be something that you want to kind of back up and maybe talk about with your partner, because those little things really, like, I mean, can definitely,
yeah. So obviously communication is key. Number 2, we wrote down is teamwork. They say teamwork makes the dream work, and it's so true. And especially, in a relationship, in a marriage, as a family. Obviously we're now stepping into something. I mean, she's stepping into something with me that she's never experienced, and as am I, but we're both going to be stepping into something brand new together. So being a team, supporting each other the ways that you require to be supported is so important. One of the worst feelings that someone can have in a relationship is not only not feeling unsupported, but feeling like they're on an island by themselves, where they don't have anyone that has their back and making certain decisions. They're making all the decisions for themselves. That the other person's just kind of just rolling over and just letting that person kind of take control. Now, there are certain situations where one of the people in the relationship may have to step up and make some decisions for the family as a team, but the relationship should not have all the weight on one person's shoulders. Being a team in every aspect, making sure the schedules are set. We were talking about, she goes, listen, I want to get some stuff, ready for Hanukkah and Christmas. I know this isn't, this coming weekend is usually a weekend that we have to ourselves, but would it be okay if I went to the farm, helped my mom out, did some stuff for the holidays? I said, absolutely. Let's go out to a nice dinner, just you and me on Friday. You skedaddle on Saturday and come back Sunday. And she said, yeah, you can call this person. I'm like, I may not want to call anybody.
You need some time to yourself.
I may just want to hang out with me and the dogs and just chill and just watch some movies. It's, the respect factor right there in doing that is huge. So I just, we wanted to say hi to, I know Debbie jumped on, Christy, Tammy, Emily, Luna, Robin, Mark. I know Jill Marie's on here. I think my brother-in-law's still watching. What's up, Jace? And, it's one of those things where you really have to be present in the relationship to understand that, yes, you are individuals within the relationship, but you are a team. And the power of two is much greater than the power of one.
It's true. I mean, we said a couple things tonight, and I just kept going back to him. Like, after I communicated, right, first topic, I just said, well, we are a team, and I want to do this together. Like, I don't want to half-ass it. Like, I don't want to oh, well, I'm going to be over here doing my thing while you're, here figuring this out. It's like, no, like, I'm in it to win it. I want the dirty. I want everything. I want it, I want it raw. Yeah. Like, I want all of it. Let's do this together. And, it's part of us, like, being together is I appreciate that we are a team. And I love you so much. And I want to work on things together, and things that upset you upset me, and things that, you're working towards, or I'm working towards. So it's just, I think when we initially met and, going back to our first date, I was a little jaded, and I was kind of, having a conversation with Scott, and I don't even know, it was our first date, but I was like, why marriage? Why do people even get married anymore? And he talked so much about the teamwork aspect of it, and how, why wouldn't you want to be with someone who you can literally go through life together and be a team and work towards amazingness and help each other and grow together? And it's like, holy shit, that's what I want. And that's what I want. And that's what our relationship has really grown into. And I've never had a relationship like this. I think it's amazing to be able to be on the same page mentally with someone and working towards the same thing and having that growth mindset. So it's awesome. I'm embracing it. But teamwork, baby, this is no matter what's thrown our way. I mean, it's going to be hard sometimes, and we're going to have to go through some patches, and, we might get frustrated and everything, but it's like, we're in it together.
It's huge. What's up, Joe? Good to see you on here, brother. And it's one of those things where it's got to be something that you both want. You have to want to be in a relationship where you water each other and you want to become better. And, as individuals and as couples, you have huge goals for yourselves. And it was interesting, like, we were in the car and I'm like, oh, I feel everything would be so much more easy and controlled if we just bought a house. And she said, a house isn't going to fix that. We have to feel comfortable with where we are right now, even before we get that house. And I was like, shit, you're right. and you know what? Like, sometimes does it get a little overwhelming when, it's her and I and Taylor and the dogs all in a 2-bedroom condo. Yeah, it does get a lot overwhelming. We get a little claustrophobic, but we wouldn't have it any other way. But it's just preparing us, for the future. It's preparing us for what is to come. So obviously, number one was communication. Number two was teamwork, and the one that I still practice every day, and I know so many people have to. We all do, and that's patience. They say patience is a virtue. Patience is everything. And Joe says, praise your spouse even when your relationship is in a trouble spot. Absolutely. So patience, for me, is everything. That's the one thing that I am constantly focusing on, because it's the one thing that the universe is always screaming at me, because naturally as human beings, we want instant gratification. We want things now. And if things don't go the way that we want, it even frustrates you even more. And it takes two to tango in a relationship. And that's absolutely right, Joe. It does. It literally takes two to do everything. So for me, patience means just really sometimes taking a step back, taking a deep breath, letting yourself reset and say, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. It's going to work itself out eventually. I know I want it right now. I want things to be fixed right now, and that's why I'm feeling impatient. So if I just kind of remove my emotion from it and start thinking logically about the situation, it will smooth itself out when it's ready to.
Yeah, and my biggest thing with patience, I mean, my whole life, I mean, you think I'm a pretty patient person.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, I mean, my whole life, I feel like patience is so incredibly important. One, because most things we get upset about, right? Like, and again, I have my triggers. I have my things that set me off and I'm going to be talked off a ledge. But a lot of things in life, if you just kind of slow down and you digest it, it's usually not that bad. And I told Scott today, like, things that you give energy to, if, let's say, I don't know, your grocery bag breaks and the dogs go to the bathroom on the floor and, 5 other things happen. If we let that affect us, in such a way, we can let that jolt our whole day. We can let it throw off our whole entire day. Or we can chalk it up to say, all right, I'm going to clean this up real quick. I'm going to go fix this over here. Life is good. Let me continue on and everything's okay. So, and that goes the same with like people, trying to get at you or affect you or kind of push your buttons or whatever. Like, if you don't give them the energy to do that, they don't do that. So again, control what you can control. We always say it, Scott always says it, stay in your lane. And, let things kind of be okay. Most things are figure outable. You can work things out. You can, get through things, and, no matter what life throws at you, like, things will be okay. But yeah, there's no need to like really let things destroy your whole entire day, especially when they're minor things. And, for any of you who hasn't seen it yet, there's an amazing, amazing video. It's by Deepak Chopra, and he does an interview with Tony Robbins. And he's talking about how you basically translate certain things and how it affects you, your body, like physically and everything. So like the difference that he gives is like someone going on a roller coaster who loves roller coasters and someone who's going on a roller coaster who absolutely is mortified of roller coasters, and how your body reacts. I mean, physically, the person who is scared to go on this roller coaster, it makes them feel sick, awful, and it actually, I think he said it causes like cancer-causing substances. It puts your body through a very stressful thing. For the person who's over here and they're like, woo, I'm going on this ride. They're releasing like endorphins, all this wonderful stuff, and they're actually helping themselves and they're more healthy because of it. So think about that when you go into your day-to-day, okay? How you take on the day, no matter what the issue, no matter what the problem is. I don't care if you're dealing with money issues. I don't care if you're dealing with a family issue. I don't care if you're dealing with someone in particular. How you translate it and how you deal with it is how it's going to affect you and kind of, create that situation. So it's important to be able to kind of back away from that and have that patience to really digest it and to process it. So.
Yeah, and Joe said something interesting. He says over-communicate instead of under-communicate, which I completely agree with. I think the one thing that I do want to finish with is, sometimes people will jump on our lives and jump off because maybe they don't want to hear some of this stuff. And here's the thing. If you're sitting in your relationship and maybe some of this is really ringing true, maybe you're not as happy as you want to be. Maybe there is some under communication going on. Maybe there is a lack of teamwork and a lack of patience, a lack of trust, a lack of love, a lack of sex, whatever it is. You're not alone. I think the one thing that people need to realize is that your relationship is no different than anyone else. There are relationships where there's a lot of bad communication. There are relationships where there's one wanting to have more sex. There are relationships where the teamwork needs to be worked on. Your relationship is not that special where other people, hundreds, thousands, millions of other people just like you are having those issues. So if you think you're the only husband and wife that aren't having sex enough, that don't communicate often enough, that don't have date nights enough, that yell at each other when they shouldn't, that get frustrated with your kids, if you think you are the only parents dealing with that, you are sadly mistaken. Every family, every relationship has a kink in their hose. And I love that quote. That's what Peter Kelly talks about. There's kinks in our hoses. So you find out what the kink is, you get the kink out, the water will flow smoothly. But don't feel bad about yourself. I think that's another thing is that you're like, oh, my relationship sucks. And this, when you start, and exactly what Deepak Chopra says, if you start facilitating those thoughts in your brain every single day, your day is spent feeling and thinking about how shitty your marriage is and how the relationship is, what do you think is going to happen to that relationship? It's going to go down the tube. You're just creating new kinks every single day until no water is going to be able to flow through.
No, I just thought the first thing I thought about was how many people have you heard talk shit on their spouse or their partner
to
behind
other
their
people.
back and to other people? It is one of my biggest pet peeves, right? And I totally, I've done it in the past at some point, right? Whenever I was unhappy.
I think everyone's done that.
Oh yeah, and here's the thing: when you get yourself to that point where you feel the need to talk shit on someone and to say bad things and to maybe not be so, much of a teammate or like be a team player with that, you need to kind of look at your relationship and kind of reflect on some things because, God, relationships should be so good, and it's like, don't feel alone if there are kinks, like Scott's saying. But there are ways to help it and ways to make it better. We talked about go to therapy even before things are an issue. I've known people who have done this. Literally, like it's helped pave the way to an amazing relationship because you are literally getting ahead of every common thing that people fight about, right? Guys, if you look it up online, what are the most common things people fight about? You will see. It's research they put together. It's no one has gone through things that really haven't. There are relationships I know that have gone through a lot more, than the average relationship. And there are a lot of things, even when it comes to parenting, everything like that, I have no idea about, and things can be really hard. But if you look online, there's nothing that you can't see and you can't find that other people.
You'll relate to it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And don't feel like alone. Don't feel that you can't go to counseling.
But here's the thing. We're still people. Like, if you think that there's things that she doesn't do that annoys me or I
like
do that.
What? Like what?
No, I'm just
kidding.
No, people. We're still people. Like, there's things that, like, I wouldn't say annoy. Like, oh my god, she's so annoying. But like, it's like those little triggers that we have where we have to talk. We're always working on each other, with each other, for each other. That's what relationships are about. And she goes, what you put out, then that's what you receive.
Yep,
and that's
you're a magnet.
Yeah, you're like, and that's the thing. Like, we have no issues telling each other. Like, I remember we were at dinner, and I just made an observation. I'm like, listen, every time this happens, this is exactly how you feel after you have one of those things.
Yes.
And she was like, really? I said, yeah, the last 3 times you felt this way, it's because of this specific thing. So, and she goes, because we got to dinner, and she goes, I need a pep talk. I need a pep talk right now. I'm like, well, here's your pep talk. Stop feeling that way after those fucking phone calls, and you'll feel better. And she gave me but she gave me the same pep talk, like today. She goes, like, sometimes when you're in a certain situation, you know, you're a little bit, your patience is a little bit shorter than other times. And Taylor can pick up on that. She goes, just be the better person, just rise above and be as patient can be. And because again, the other person notices it. Like it may be like she might need a pep talk, and I may be feeling a certain way, but those are like kinks that we have that can be easily fixed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like, you chill.
Oh, that's all. I was like, I'm like, here, like literally, I'm like, it was like maybe a 3.5 minute pep talk. It was like, I'm like, can we move on from this now? Like,
he's like, Nancy's so annoying. She tries to give me like too many pep talks.
But it's one of those. It was one of those things where, you know, it was just required. Like it was one of those things where when you start to get to know that person so well, that it's not like one of those conversations that just has to drag out. It's like, okay, here's the issue. Here's how you're responding. Stop responding that way. Like it's that easy. There's everything, as you say, is figure outable. Yeah. There is a solution to every problem. Like there, again, if you think about things that have been created and invented in this world, there was a problem and there was a solution created for it. Mm-hmm. So the same thing goes with how you feel as a person, you know, as an individual or in the relationship. If there's an issue, you could fix it. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So
he's looking at me.
Okay. I'm just seeing if there's anything else.
Anything
No, I mean, if you don't have to. Again, you're good. All right. So either way, thank you guys so much for joining as always. We had a couple people reach out to us. About a week or so ago to talk about certain things. So for people that are coming on live or have been on here live or come on the replay, either inbox us, either Nancy or myself privately, or if you want to share something with the community that we have on here with a topic, relationship or life-wise, that you would like us to bring some content to, our own opinion through our own experience. Because again, we're not experts. We just like sharing our own experiences to let you guys know that you're not alone. We all experience this stuff together. So if there are topics that you would love for us to speak on, please leave them in the comments below, or feel free to privately inbox if you want to keep it, you know, kind of like where you're anonymous. That's what that's called. So do that. And obviously we'll be coming to you every Sunday with some new information. And we look forward to seeing you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.
So we'll see you next Sunday. Woman of many words. We'll see you then. Bye, everybody.